on Spring.
5 seconds.
Weekends at 6 and 9. Done.
Live, KVRR local news at 7 is on right now.
22 years later, firefighters are still dying from the fallout from 9/11's Ground Zero. We take you to memorials here at home for those who died. Then more first responder sacrifices honored. How the Bison Nation is bringing the bravery of the Fargo police forward for the start of the season. Then it's almost a month since the evacuations from Canada's massive wildfires. We'll show you how homeowners are salvaging what's left of the harvest season this morning. And then you can't run from your problems, especially mental health, but you can get a move on fixing them. We're going to show you how one group in the metro is doing it this morning.
Live, KVRR local news at 7 is on right now.
Live bug.
Good morning. This is a live look at the 9/11 Memorial in New York City. It is just after 7 a.m. September 11th, 2023. We're getting started with our live coverage this morning of ceremonies both all across the nation and, of course, here at home. Bree is going to be live, joining us a little bit later in the show with firefighters who are doing an annual tradition, a stair climb to memorialize the stair climb that the actual first responders at the scene of Ground Zero did to try to save lives on the attack on the Twin Towers. That's coming up, as I said, a little later in the show. In the meantime, thanks so much for joining us for your only local news from 7 to 9 a.m. I'm Emily Welker. Adam has the morning off, and it looks like it's a bit of a chilly morning compared to what we've been enjoying lately to start off our first day of the work week. For more on that, we are going to kick it over to KVRR Chief Meteorologist filling in for Mariah this morning, Max Mueller. Good morning, Max.
Yeah, morning, and it's early. It's early for me, earlier than I usually like to be awake, but it is a fairly nice morning out there. Those temperatures, like Emily said, a little bit on the cool side. Right now here in Fargo, 55 degrees, and we're not necessarily seeing some sunny skies out there right now, even though on the tower cam we are starting to see some of that sunshine starting to filter in. It is still a little bit on the cloudier side, and we're expecting some kind of cloudier skies out there through the rest of our day, as we're going to be seeing some chances. Also, some rain starting to move through the region. 55 right now here in Fargo, 52 up in Grand Forks. Some areas a little bit on the cooler side of things. 43 right now into Oaks, 48 into Gwinner, 52 right now into Wadena, 57 up into Warroad, where we're seeing some more cloud cover overhead. That's where we're seeing those temperatures staying a little bit more on the, quote unquote, mild side of things. And there are a couple areas with some slightly clearer skies, and that's where we're seeing those temperatures kind of starting to get a little bit cooler down into the 40s. But right now on satellite and radar, we are seeing that line of rain, and at times we have been seeing some fairly heavy rain kind of from the Langdon area down towards the Grafton area right now. Some chances possibly and maybe a rumble of thunder or two, but mainly just expecting some kind of light to moderate rain at times, pushing towards the Highway 2 corridor. This is expected to be continuing to move further to the south here through pretty much the rest of the day on Futurecast. That rain, again, kind of just to the north of Highway 2 right now, but through the rest of the day, moving its way further to the south. By about midday, we're starting to see some of that rain here into the Fargo-Moorhead area, into parts of Minnesota from Clearwater, kind of up towards areas a little further to the north and west, maybe towards Thief River Falls. And further to the west, we do see some areas of some rain kind of starting to push its way into the maybe Carrington area, down towards Jamestown through the rest of the afternoon and evening. And then as we end the day, we are expecting a little bit of some kind of clearer skies as we get into at least parts of the overnight hours. Some more clouds kind of starting to push their way in as we get into the day tomorrow. At least to start things off, 64 into Grand Forks today, same into Mayville, 63 Thief River Falls, 65 into Crookston, 70 Fergus Falls, 67 into Breckenridge, 65 today for a high here into Fargo, 63 into Valley City, and on the KVRR Weather Authority 7-day forecast, 69 for our Tuesday, some sunnier skies after a bit of a cloudier morning, 74 on Wednesday, 79 Thursday, 78 on Friday, 82 by the time we get to the start of the weekend, and 83 by Sunday to start things off for next week. So a little bit of a chillier start to this week, a little bit of some chances of some rain out there, but some nicer weather coming for the rest of the week. And it is going to be looking like a bit of a fall forecast out there, but some nice weather nonetheless.
Thanks so much, Max. 2 people and a dog are lucky to be alive this morning after they escaped a mobile home fire in South Fargo. Crews called out around 2:30 Sunday afternoon to 4514 San Juan Drive South. They found a fire burning in the rear of the structure, quickly put that out. The house now has significant fire and smoke damage, and the cause of the fire is still under investigation. The American Red Cross is offering help to people who were displaced. And a Moorhead man is awaiting formal charges in jail this morning after being accused of setting fire to his home and refusing to come down from the roof while the fire department put it out. He also threatened to jump. Police are holding 41-year-old Sean Aronholtz for arson, false imprisonment, assault, and domestic assault. SWAT negotiators talked him down after nearly 8 hours. They say Aronholtz had been involved in a disturbance with a female who lived in the home before setting the fire. He was also arrested back in April for setting a fire in his apartment building in Moorhead. Nobody got hurt in either incident. And we are learning some more about that crash that killed a 64-year-old Perham driver who collided with a pickup in Otter Tail County Friday night at the intersection of Highway 10 and County Road 60. The State Patrol said Diane Tigey was driving a car east on Highway 10. About 5 miles northwest of Perham. The pickup driver, who's 67-year-old David Goebel of Eden Prairie, was headed westbound, and when he turned onto County Road 60, the two vehicles crashed. Goebel suffered non-life-threatening injuries.
Stand by.
All right, new this morning, we are marking 22 years since the tragedies of 9/11 took place. And each year, firefighters all over the United States participate in what is called the Stair Climb Challenge. If you ever have a chance to be there in person, I encourage you to go. It's really moving. KVRR Bree Bolin is live with a local firefighter who's participating in this year's challenge. Bree.
Go, Bree.
That is correct. We are here at Evolution Fitness in South Fargo. I'm here with firefighter Ben Herbst, who is on his 5th year of doing the Stair Climb Challenge. Ben, tell me why this is so important to you.
Ben. Wait for the lower third.
Yeah, it's super important.
Run it.
Because 22 years ago, on this day, all the firefighters climbed the tower, 110 flights, and it's just kind of a good remembrance for all those that went through it. Obviously, we're not going through the same exact thing that they're going through, but it just gives you a little bit of perspective of what they're going through, and then gives you kind of a remembrance of 343 firefighters who lost their life.
That is right. And of those 344 firefighters, 3,000 people total died. And like he said, this is just a good remembrance of that day. Ben has already been going here this morning, and he still has some left. How much have you done yet, Ben?
I've done 900.
So that leaves
1170 to go.
1170 to go, and we will be here all morning keeping you updated on Ben's Stair Climb Challenge. Back to you.
Bree, I don't know if you've ever had a chance to be up close with the firefighters when they're doing the Stair Climb Challenge, but for me, I just thought it was so moving. Like I said, like it really gives you a whole new sense of what they had to have going through their minds when they were racing to the top of the World Trade Center. What are you finding with your experience out there?
It is really cool watching Ben do this. It's really moving just to see how many flights 110 flights actually is. It's crazy what these firefighters went through, and it's just a great thing for Ben and other firefighters to be doing this stair climbing challenge today.
All right, thanks so much, Bree. We'll check in with you a little bit later in the show. Well, it was a moving start as well to the new Bison football season. The coin flip responsibilities taken over by the surviving Fargo police officers, Andrew Doutas, Tyler Hawes, and Zach Robinson from the July 14th shooting attack. Those officers joined by their families out on the field. Officer Hawes flipped the coin, Bison won the toss. Fallen Officer Jake Walleen was also honored and recognized during the opening, along with other first responders. Those officers were all ambushed by a gunman while responding to a traffic crash in July. Officer Robinson shot and killed the gunman. Walleen was killed while Doutas and Hawes were injured. Both recently were discharged from the hospital to continue their recoveries at home.
This week we realized that sometimes there's a lot of bigger things in this world than games. And so with the people that we honored today, Coach Roll, it is just a game sometimes, but it's fun how this game can bring people together.
Thanks.
Coach Entz also referring to offensive coordinator Tyler Roll, who lost his mother earlier in the week. The Bison beat Maine 44-7. And of course, you can check out more with our sports guys coming up on KVRR News at 6 and 9. Oh, coming up, we know the labor shortage is still a problem all around the country, but it is now literally shutting down businesses right here in our region. It's the walkout from a staff shortage when we return. Then, after a wildfire, how does your garden grow? Well, thousands of evacuated Canadians are finding out also when we return.
Yeah, we could be seeing some chances of some rain out there as we continue into the rest of our day. A cooler start to the week as well. I'll have more coming up in my forecast in just a little bit.
Somebody sound on 3.
You're watching KVRR Local News, where local news comes first.
Today's news is brought to you by Meteorologist.
Is there? Can you bring the Q level down?
Yeah.
See if there's any Q. If there's any audio coming from Live 2. Bring that up now. Okay. You can
Oh yeah. Do you want sound from that?
So sometimes they'll be ringing the bell or saying names.
Gotcha.
I was wondering if they were doing that yet.
Okay. Well, I got that on standby then.
Okay. 10 seconds. Can you step in front? Just I want to check something. Okay, you're good. Go back.
While they're wondering, you'll be doing it. Because you have the will.
3, 2, 1.
Well, we're seeing a little bit of some kind of cloudy skies out there to start things off in the, for this morning. Temperatures down into the low 50s in Moorhead right now. And as the sun comes up, we're not necessarily seeing some sunny skies out there. A little bit more of some cloudy skies. You can see that a little bit better here.
Okay.
In Oaks, temperatures down to 43 right now in Oaks. Low 50s into the Fargo-Moorhead area. And up into Minnesota, 54 in Fossum right now, 55 in Fergus Falls. And you can see some of those clouds overhead up into northern Minnesota as well, up into Boston. We're going to continue to see some chances of, well, plenty more clouds out there today. Some chances of some rain starting to move in. And those temperatures are going to be staying a little bit on the cooler side as well through pretty much the rest of the day. Out there this morning, we're already starting to see some of those temperatures down into the 40s across parts of mainly North Dakota right now. Temperatures through the rest of the afternoon with some partly cloudy skies and some chances of some rain just kind of staying into the mid-60s. Definitely going to be a bit of a cooler start to our work week out there and staying a little bit on the cool side for our day tomorrow as well on the KVRR Weather 37-day forecast. Just expecting our highs here into Fargo into the mid-60s or so. Some chances of some showers moving through. 69 for our Tuesday. While we start off our Tuesday with a little bit more of some cloud cover, things should be clearing up pretty quickly. And then the rest of the week, things do look really nice out there. Temperatures into the mid-70s by Wednesday and getting up a little closer to 80 here by the end of the week, Thursday, Friday. And by the weekend, whole lot of some clear skies out there. Those temperatures, again, looking very comfortable into the low 80s. It's looking like it's going to be a kind of perfect weekend and end of the week out there.
Right? Especially because, you know, Monday morning, 9/11, it's a very somber, kind of gloomy day, and then you're hitting the 60s as the high for the day. I don't know if everybody's ready for that yet.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm ready for it yet. I like summer a lot, so.
Yeah, it's a great part of living here in the upper Midwest.
Yeah, great in quotes.
Thanks so much. New this morning, a Starbucks in Madison, Wisconsin had to close last week after all their baristas walked off the job. JET Sostowski reports on what prompted the workers to walk out and how their customers are reacting.
In the middle of the Thursday morning rush, the baristas at the State Street Starbucks walked out of the store. They faced a backlog of orders that were taking them half an hour to fill. Lines of people nearly out the door at the State Street location have become a familiar sight to loyal customers like Hadi Andravi.
I saw the line and I just gave up. Like, I can't imagine having to serve that because, like, I didn't even want to wait in the line.
Employees here at the State Street Starbucks say that the reason for their action today is simple. They need the company to give them more help. Workers say the company staffs up the State Street location when classes resume on the nearby UW-Madison campus. But this year, the workers claim the company used artificial intelligence to analyze the store's performance. As a result, Starbucks hired many fewer employees for this fall's back-to-school rush.
And the AI system decided that our store needed to be at that staffing and no more. So we had to follow that.
I think it really just comes down to management trying to save money for salaries and paying people, thinking they can get away with employing less people per hour just to get more net gain for the hour.
Workers like Montana Fallon are all too familiar with the stress and toll that short staffing inflicts.
I'm exhausted at the end of a good day, but on a day like this, I am absolutely covered in coffee, drenched in sweat, and it almost hurts to walk home.
The workers say that the company has relented somewhat and hired some more help since its initial round of hiring for the fall rush, but it's short of what they need.
And Starbucks, in their statement, says store leaders did hire workers needed to fill staffing needs. The company adds that location has doubled in sales and customer demand ever since classes came back into session. A lot of people are worried, right, about what AI could wind up taking away from us American workers. But what if it could give us something back, money and a better environment? The story is in Business News.
Thank you. Hey, Emily, did you see Bree's text?
Latest text? I did not.
Louder and cue.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What the fuck? Okay. I think we ought to send her home. What do you think? I mean, she's missing a tooth now.
What?
Like, I feel like you really shouldn't be doing live shots with your tooth gone.
Probably not.
Let's send her home.
DeSantis at ground zero.
Shop us now at hottubblive.com.
Well, for some of us, our pets really are, quite literally, priceless. Fox Business Network's David Asman has that story and more on this. Fox Means Business.
And pricey.
Well, a lot of pet owners would choose their furry friends over their finances. 4 in 10 of them, surveyed by the company PetMeds, say they would take a pay cut to work from home with their pets. Many saying they do so because they miss their 4-legged kids when they're away. Well, gas prices remain stubbornly high as we head into the weekend. AAA says national average cost for regular is now $3.81 a gallon. That's 6 cents more from a year ago. That's business. I'm David Asman.
All right, our energy prices, they are going up again. And that is leading to a now renewed focus on energy-saving technology. And it turns out AI could be a big part of that. Fox's Eben Brown has more in this edition of our Fox on Tech series.
Energy prices are on the rise again, and it's not just heat or air conditioning. Simply powering all our devices around the house is costing more than it used to. It's led to a renewed focus on energy-saving technology and the role artificial intelligence can play in that. That was the main topic earlier this week at the IFA Technology Expo in Germany, where AI-powered energy-saving measures were among the hottest tech being showcased. Some companies say it's a natural evolution. Smart homes are becoming more common, connecting everything from your fridge to your washing machine, and now AI technology is making those links more efficient.
On one hand, this starts with the devices. They have an AI energy mode with which you can save energy through artificial intelligence, and then a whole connected home together with partner devices from solar systems to heat pumps.
Most of the products getting attention at IFA were geared toward integrating smart homes, like new devices promoting energy efficiency in your bathroom and bedroom, AI-powered appliances, and something called a neural quantum processor, which upscales video to 4K regardless of the original resolution. It's all part of the new push to use AI to optimize the use of your electricity.
It's all kinds of devices that really generate and consume energy combined into one holistic energy management.
The Energy Department says 80% of buildings in the United States do not have smart systems to manage their energy use. In Miami, Eben Brown, Fox News.
All right, so most of the stories that we've been doing about AI, at least on the morning show business segment, have been a little on the dark and gloomy side, but that's pretty promising, all things considered.
Hey, just as long as AI doesn't take over my job.
I don't think that would be possible
I think
because
it's
we
the
know
only
we need
safe
the
one.
human element in
Yeah.
science, particularly, right?
Exactly.
What do we have today? It's a lot cooler than it has been.
It is a lot cooler, and it's going to be staying cooler into the afternoon as well. And if you're heading out the door this morning, we're seeing some cloudier skies out there, and we're going to be expecting those clouds to kind of be sticking around. Not necessarily going to be a huge factor as the day goes on. Some chances of some rain, those winds out of the north, but for the most part, things should be fairly clear heading out the door and hitting the road this morning. It kind of looks like there's maybe a couple raindrops here on the camera on I-94 here in Fargo, but we're not seeing any rain coming down here right now. We're expecting some chances of some rain a little later on into the day. Red River Bridge on I-94 and some clear conditions out there. Traffic not too bad at the moment right now, but again, there's still some road construction on 94 here in Fargo, so expect some delays thanks to that. Further to the north, we have been seeing some areas of that rain working its way through. Here's I-29 in Pembina. You can see a little bit of that rain still making the interstate a little bit damp up there, but it's starting to dry out pretty quickly, and as that rain moves on, we are expecting a little bit of some clearer skies out there. So the morning commute might be impacted by a little bit of some rain. The evening, things looking like it's going to be staying a little clearer out there.
All right, so just beware your kid might be jumping in some mud puddles this morning, right?
Hopefully not. Yeah.
Thanks so much, Max. Coming up, it is a somber day of remembrance for what remains one of the worst ever terrorist attacks on the United States. We're going to be taking you to how some of our firefighters are remembering the sacrifices of 9/11 and how they're doing it here at home. That's in 2 minutes.
Max Bridges up and kill Ladwig.
With fall approaching, now is the right time.
Mic check. Sorry, Max, for the last two hits, I've forgotten to give you time cues.
Who's doing the stair climb challenge for 9/11? Check, check, check.
We got you, Bree. I'm gonna drop this live swoosh shit. Seems take it off cue.
LakesAreaTrailers.com
10, 10, 10.
or call 218-864-2535 today.
Oh shit.
You're watching KVRR Local News, where local news comes first.
22 years ago today marks the day Americans watched in horror as the terrorist attacks of September 11th, 2001 took place. Our own KVRR's Bree Bolin is live out in the field with a local firefighter who pays tribute every single year to these fallen firefighters. Bree.
Go, Bree.
That is correct, Emily. We are here at Evolution Fitness in South Fargo. And you're right, it's the 22nd anniversary where 3,000 people's lives were claimed. Included in that total were over 400 police officers and firefighters. In honor of those firefighters who made the ultimate sacrifice, firefighters all over the United States participate in the 9/11 Stair Climb Challenge, just like West Fargo firefighter Ben here, who has been going all morning long with us. Ben, why is this so important?
Yeah, it's super important. It just kind of gives you a good remembrance of what all those firefighters, police officers, everyone that was involved in the 9/11 attacks. Just an idea of what they were doing. Obviously, we're in not even close to the same amount of heat, the same amount of equipment carrying, but it's just a little bit of a feeling of what they went through, and it kind of helps you feel good and get you a good remembrance of all the fallen firefighters.
This is Ben's 5th year doing this challenge, and Ben is going to continue to do this. He's going to actually do it again later today. He did it yesterday. He is all about this. Ben, can you tell me what you're excited for later with the new recruits that haven't done this yet?
Yeah, I don't know how many of the recruits haven't done it, but I know a good handful haven't, and it'll just be for PT this morning. It will be a good workout for them, and it'll be a good remembrance to them as well if they haven't done it, which is awesome.
Back to you.
Okay, so we're going to let him take a little bit of a break, obviously catch his breath. You know, obviously it's a pretty intense workout, all of those stairs with all of that gear on it. Bree, you would have been fairly young when this happened. Do you have any memory at all of what you thought and felt when you had heard about what was going on, or were you too really young to take it in?
I was pretty young when it happened, but I do remember being at lunch and seeing it all over the televisions. as we were there in the lunchroom, but that's really all I can remember from that day.
Yeah, it's really sobering for, I think, a lot of people who were adults when this happened to realize that we have now at least a generation, if not younger people growing up, who really don't have a living memory of what it was like when 9/11 happened. It's good that they're keeping the memory alive.
Kill out,
Thanks so much, Bree. You this morning, President Biden
Where?
is on his way back to the United States this morning after an overseas trip that included visits to India and Vietnam. And later today, he'll be commemorating 22 years since the 9/11 terrorist attacks. As Doug Luzader reports from Washington this morning, much of the president's itinerary has been about countering China.
President Biden says he is not interested in containing China, but that has really been the subtext of this entire trip, trying to counter what many see as the country's biggest threat. President Biden boarding Air Force One in Vietnam this morning, making his way home after efforts to enhance U.S. influence abroad, particularly in Asia. There was a stop at the John McCain Memorial in Hanoi, and he met with government and business leaders there, clearly trying to carve out a larger role for the U.S. in a region where China's influence is growing. Biden tried to temper that message, though.
We're not looking to hurt China, sincerely. We're all better off if China does well.
Chinese President Xi Jinping was a no-show at Biden's earlier stop, the G20 in India.
So the U.S. shows up, China does not. That's a good thing for the United States. It gives face to our allies around the world and to countries that are thinking about whom to ally with. Do I want to ally with China or do I want to ally with the United States?
But the long trip may have taken a toll on the president, who appeared confused at times during his news conference.
I'm just following my orders here.
President shouldn't say that.
Staff, if anybody haven't spoken to... No, I ain't calling on you. I'm calling on, I said I had 5 questions.
Biden later said he was going to go to bed. He's due to land in Alaska this afternoon. In Washington, Doug Luzader, Fox News.
That last bit there.
Well, in the meantime, you probably better fill up this morning. Gas prices in several states are predicted to increase by 50 cents to $1 over the coming days. Adam Duxter has that story from the Twin Cities.
If it's been a while since you filled up, be prepared.
Definitely a little bit of a shock. I was expecting to pay about $3.99 filling up today, but it looks like it's at $4.19.
The jump in gas prices across the metro, the state, and the Midwest, as significant as it's been quick.
You know, it was $3.50 yesterday, and then it's $3.80 today. Originally, I was gonna put 20 in, and then I saw that, and then I was like, yeah, I'm only gonna put 10 in now.
Experts like Patrick DeHaan say it's the perfect storm.
It's fairly uncommon, but it can happen when the stars align. Unfortunately, that's what we're seeing here.
As refineries switch from summer to winter blend, maintenance at refineries in Minnesota, Oklahoma, and Indiana is limiting remaining supply. DeHaan says, while there's still some uncertainties, this could potentially drive up prices more than 50 cents a gallon in the coming days.
It's not the refinery raising prices. It's just the fact that suddenly there's a whole lot less supply in the market. It would be akin to the housing market. Suddenly you wake up and half the houses are off the market. Well, what does that do to the value of the rest of them? All of a sudden those other homes are much more valuable.
Drivers.
The last time I checked, I thought it was under 4. Now it's over 4.
The hope is prices will drop when the switch to winter fuel is complete and maintenance at refineries is over. But that could take a week or so.
Well, it's always frustrating when you have no control over something like that. You know, it's the powers that be that dictate the prices. So you just kind of have, as a consumer, you just kind of have to take it.
And here we are again, taking a live look. There is, of course, Vice President Kamala Harris with a number of other dignitaries you'll probably recognize. That's at the 9/11 Ground Zero Memorial Site ceremony this morning, as everybody really across the nation kind of comes together and reflects on, what we've learned and the sacrifices in particular of that day. Max, you and I were just talking about it during the break.
Yeah.
It's a rough holiday for everybody, I think.
It's hard to believe it's been 22 years.
Is it?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. All right. So here at home, famously, that day in New York City was just gorgeous weather, and we have pretty okay weather here too, right?
Yeah, it's not too terrible to start things off this morning. We are going to be seeing some chances of some rain, and I'll have more on those chances coming up in my forecast just a little bit later on.
That's how I've always heard it play. Okay, put her in queue. So with all this extra ad-lib that we're doing, 113 heavy now.
Okay. We could probably get rid of.
Movember.
We could also. Yeah, let's get rid of that. So you weren't at work the day of the police shootings, right? That would have been your day off?
No.
Or did you wind up coming in?
No.
And then not who. What do you want moved to the?
Let's kick out Biden VO from 8.
Gather at Mavericks for pool and a good time.
10.
It's a bar with free hospitality. Lake Bronson in northwest Minnesota.
3, 2, 1.
Well, we are seeing some cloudier skies out there to start things off this morning. Here's what East Grand Forks looks like, and you can see some of those clouds overhead. We are seeing some areas of some rain starting to push its way closer to the Grand Forks area. Currently 52 degrees, winds out of the north 10 miles an hour, and going to be staying fairly cloudy out there through at least a good portion of the day after this rain moves through. Expecting maybe things to be clearing up a little bit more into the kind of late evening hours. 52 up in the Grand Forks, 55 here in Fargo right now, 50 into Valley City, 52 Fosston, 48 right now into Gwinner, and 45 in Oaks. So some areas definitely seeing a little bit of some cooler conditions out there at the moment. And well, here is that satellite and radar image. Starting to see some of that rain kind of working its way a little bit closer to the Devil's Lake and Churches Ferry area, kind of right along Highway 2. Getting a little closer to Grand Forks and through pretty much the rest of the day. Expecting some of this rain to continue to move its way further to the south. So at least portions of eastern North Dakota, northwest Minnesota, going to be seeing some chances of some light rain out there as the day continues on Futurecast. Well, we're expecting some of that rain here to be breaking up a little bit more as it moves further to the south. By about 1 in the afternoon, you start to see about getting into the FM area here, a couple raindrops here, and then areas towards Clearwater County, Thief River Falls, Minnesota, and then into the Carrington area, and then down towards Jamestown. These rain showers continue to work their way through before we start to see some little bit of some clearer skies to get into the overnight hours. Starting off tomorrow, it looks like we're going to be seeing still a little bit more of some cloud cover before things kind of clear up once again. 64 into Grand Forks today, 59 into Devil's Lake, 65 in Pembina. A little bit of a cooler start to the week out there. 60 Roseau, 65 Crookston, 66 into Monoman, 70 into Fergus Falls, 71 Wheaton, 65 into Moorhead. Same here into Fargo, 65 Jamestown, and 63 into Valley City. On the KVRR Weather Authority 7-day forecast, we do see those temperatures staying a little bit on the cooler side still tomorrow. 69 on Tuesday. Nice. Some sunny skies after a little bit of a cloudier start to the day. 74 on Wednesday, 79 on Thursday. Once we get past tomorrow, things really do look really nice out there through the rest of the week. And by Friday and into the weekend, some still very sunny skies out there. Temperatures into the low 80s, so a bit of a cool start to the week, but next weekend looking like we're going to be seeing a whole lot of clear skies and some very nice weather out.
Couldn't ask for better timing, could you?
Okay. No, and you know, it's kind of late summer weather. It's not too hot. It's just kind of perfect.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. All right. Thanks so much, Max. Well, new this morning, part of a national forest in Montana is closed after a grizzly bear attacked a person there over the weekend. First responders helping to evacuate the injured person from Custer-Gallatin National Forest. Now that's just outside Big Sky, which is a community of the Rocky Mountains. Authorities say a hunting party was looking for deer in the area when the bear attacked. The injured person's condition at this point is not known, and it's not quite clear if authorities have yet located the bear. Well, you cannot run from your problems, right? Especially when they are mental health related. But this morning, a Fargo-based recovery center is teaming up with a running group to change the way they observe National Recovery Month. KVRR's Hamia Rain reports.
Runners Against Destructive Decisions and community walkers are letting it all out on the South Fargo streets for a 5K.
This is the fun stuff, right? So you get to see lots of different people celebrating recovery. Running was an important part of my early recovery journey, so it's very near and dear to my heart. And you know, we really want to give people avenues to get well in whatever form that might be. And running can be a very, very positive experience, or walking, whatever it might be.
It's the first year hosting this fun run or walk as part of National Recovery Month. People from any background are encouraged to join.
So with the running group, RAD, I've actually been running with them for about 10 weeks now. I joined the group a lot longer before then. I had just gotten out of prison recently in March, out of a boot camp program, and every other day we run 5 miles. So I saw this group pop up on Facebook, and you know, I wanted to continue that that just finding coping mechanisms that are healthy in my life. So I hopped in the group and just been running ever since.
It's a way for everyone to work out their physical muscles to gain peace mentally.
It was good. Every time I run really for my mental health. I'm doing that for my mental health, like just being able to have that alone time with myself. And, you know, I go through my mindfulness techniques while I'm running. And then it's really good to get out here with a group of people who love to run too, because then it brings out the competitiveness in me too. So.
Hami Rain, KVRR Local News.
They raised money for Fargo runners against destructive decisions and for Soul Solutions Recovery Center.
Cheese monitor.
Well, coming up, fighting against the disease of dementia is no game, right? Well, or is it? We are checking into a new study that could show a solution to the onset of dementia with the game. That's next.
Emily, you.
What's going on? But this doesn't
Emily.
good. Yeah.
Blood out.
Okay.
Because we're heavy in this hour.
Okay.
We're 4 minutes and some seconds light in the after moving the Biden package over.
Okay, so go ahead and find Canada Gardens and put that over there too. And I'm not sure where I want to put it, so I will look as soon as I'm done reading help.
When did they fall?
9:59 and then 10:28.
Buy a sausage McMuffin with egg, sausage McMuffin, or sausage biscuit, and get one for $1.
Well, a new memory game intends to help people who have dementia. Fox's Lauren Clark has more details on how it all works.
You got it. You got it.
At Mary's Place in Sun City.
Let her have it. Toss it real hard.
Building connections with dementia members is what director Shelley Buckmeyer does each day.
How you doing, Dave? Steve, how are you doing over here? Oh. How you doing, Linda?
And now,
I was a little skeptical of it.
New technology is helping her do it even better.
Once we actually got it, downloaded on our phones and our iPads, and we started going around to a few different individual people and trying it with them, I was like amazed.
Probably was Frank Sinatra.
The program Memory Lane.
There's like over 1,000 categories that you can pick. Things like Tony Bennett, Elvis Presley lyrics.
Is downloaded as an app on an iPad to help people with memory loss.
Gardening, black and white classics, Dick Van Dyke Show. So you can kind of pick what somebody's been interested before in their past. And you can open up that category and it'll ask you some questions.
Like Chuck.
Finish the lyric, Elvis's lyric, he ain't nothing but a...
Who loves Elvis.
It's amazing how some of our members that have that in their background, they can answer the questions.
It was right, you did.
It might seem like a simple game.
Probably somebody, huh?
But Shelley says it's so much more.
And it's a great opportunity for us to engage in conversation with them. It brings up memories for them, especially since there's pictures attached to the application.
Have you ever worn a pair of shoes like that?
So it's just really exciting.
And she's already noticed a change.
I'm hearing them talk more than ever before, which is wonderful.
Well, the maker of sleep apnea machines is agreeing to pay $479 million in order to settle claims related to a recall. The law firm that's handling this class action lawsuit says Philips Respironics is agreeing to reimburse the cost of the affected devices. Their 2021 recall indicates use of some ventilators called CPAPs and BPAP machines and lead to health problems. They contain foam that can break down, possibly causing the user to inhale or swallow particles or chemicals. The FDA says they've gotten more than 100,000 complaints, including reports of at least 385 deaths. According to the law firm Mueller & Zois, settlement doesn't cover personal injury claims. It estimates those might wind up totaling more than $4 billion. Philips now says it is trying to support patients through their remediation process. And if you need more information about that recall, they've got that on their website and that also of the FDA. Well, the 988 Suicide and Crisis Hotline is now offering services for people who are deaf or hard of hearing. The Department of Health and Human Services announcing the expanded accessibility over the weekend. Deaf and hard of hearing callers now can click on the ASL Now button on 988lifeline.org and follow prompts to connect with a trained counselor who can communicate in American Sign Language. In the coming weeks, you'll be able to directly dial 988 through a video phone. In the meantime, ASL callers can call 1-800-273-TALK, that's 8255, from a phone with video capabilities to be connected with a counselor. For non-ASL speakers, if someone you know is having thoughts of suicide, please contact the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. That again is 988.
Live bug.
All right, if you are heading out the door on this 9/11 anniversary, we are going to give you a look at how some of the rest of the country is memorializing the fallen first responders and other victims claimed in the terror attacks.
Mike's up. And wait for another bell.
In the aftermath of an
Well, we got one bell.
So what happened there?
Okay.
Was originally we were going to go to Fast Forecast, but it wasn't loaded up, so I improvised.
Okay. So what's our time look like now?
1 minute heavy.
Okay.
And then I haven't not dragged it any. I've dragged it over, but it's below the line because
Okay.
I don't know where you want it.
All right. I'll take a look now.
I forgot my timer again. Let me know what the last two spots are.
Okay.
And their lengths.
Let's put it in. Didn't you put in the
1 minute.
Biden package where Biden VO was.
It's lower? I see. Okay, thank you.
He said something, but I didn't acknowledge what he said. What did you say?
The last spot is education,
Let's put it
Minnesota.
ahead
That's a
of
30
Minnesota
second.
Gas.
Repeat.
Put it right ahead of Minnesota Gas E2.
A2? $213 light.
Okay.
30.
Thank you.
Yep.
And then reset this.
How do you feel
back.
about stretching a little bit on some of your next hits for the next hour? Okay.
Oh, I'm sure that with our live ad libs that we might be able to get that down to 0, even without max stretching. But yeah. Tunes. Oh, that's fine. 3, 2, 1.
Well, some cloudy skies out there to start things off this morning through right now areas a little further to the north, 53 at the moment up into Devil's Lake, and maybe just about to start to see some raindrops coming down up into Devil's Lake right now. Those winds out of the north, 7 miles an hour at the moment, and we're going to continue to see those winds out of the north through pretty much the rest of the day into really the next couple of days. Those northerly winds bringing a little bit of some cooler weather out there. And right now on satellite and radar, we're seeing definitely plenty of some clouds through much of the region. There's a couple chances of maybe a couple rain showers popping up along 94, kind of from Steele to Jamestown. But the main area of rain up further to the north of Highway 2 right now, you see that rain just starting to work its way into Devil's Lake and some areas of some heavier rain a little further to the north of Lakota, further to the north of Grand Forks, moving into parts of Minnesota. Expecting that rain to be kind of continuing into much of the region here through the rest of the day. Those clouds and that rain keeping things a little bit on the cool side. Those temperatures through the afternoon expected to just be kind of getting up into the mid-60s or so. So definitely a bit of a cooler start to the week out there, and staying on the KVRR Weather Authority 7-day forecast a little bit on the cool side for our Tuesday. We're starting off the day on Tuesday with a little bit more of some cloud cover, but things should be clearing up through the rest of the day. 74 by Wednesday, 79 on Thursday, 78 on Friday. So ending the week with a whole lot of some more nicer, sunnier, and warmer conditions out there. And by the weekend, we're looking at those temperatures into the low 80s. Still a whole lot of sunny skies out there as well. So after today, tomorrow, a little bit of some cooler conditions, but the rest of the week really looking nice out there.
It's kind of like your little foretaste of fall, right?
Yeah, it's a little sample platter, and then by the end of the week, we're still getting late summer weather. So.
Appetizer.
Yeah.
Appetizer. All right. Thanks so much, Max. Oh, the return of Yellowknife's wildfire evacuees is taking some time, but their exodus from the city was quite rapid. That means after 3 weeks, there is plenty left to check on. Liney Lamperink has this look at how some of their late summer gardens have fared.
It's big. I don't know what else to say.
Joe Pamplin made it back to Yellowknife on Wednesday. A friend who stayed behind as an essential worker watered her garden for her occasionally, but she wasn't sure what state her flowers and vegetables would be in after 3 weeks.
Emily,
I wasn't expecting to find a lot, and then to come back and to lilies blooming in the front yard, and the biggest zucchini I have ever grown personally. Apparently the trick is to just ignore everything for 3 weeks.
The vegetables have been thriving over at the Northern Roots Market Garden too. Kohlrabi, beets, arugula.
So the beans have really liked the hot weather.
This garden's keeper, Lona Sorensen, fled Yellowknife when the evacuation order came down. But the crops growing here helped feed people who stayed behind. Fire crews, volunteers, and essential workers.
I didn't really lose very many plants, but that was also thanks to a very beautiful soul whom I hardly knew that offered to take care of my garden and do some harvesting and watering while I was gone.
The growth in this garden is absolutely beautiful, a gardener's slice of paradise. What's less beautiful is some of the growth happening inside people's homes.
There were some science experiments happening in the fridge, and there was a whole bunch of ash that had just kind of settled, and I obviously had not vacuumed in a while before we left, and the place was full of fur balls.
I'm still dealing with those little fruit flies right now. So the last 2 days I've been trying to take care of that. My compost bin was left on the counter, and yeah, it was a real treat. Opened up, it was just like little flies everywhere. So it's yeah, I'm dealing with that.
Beautiful day for it, really, for everybody to get together. And if you are looking for ceremonies in the region to commemorate this 22nd anniversary of 9/11, they're all over the place. In the meantime, we are going to bring you a live look at one of them going on in the nation. We've got that look coming up a little bit later.
Charles Aaron.
Joshua Todd Aaron.
Richard Avery Aronow.
Myra Joy Aronson.
Japhet Jesse Arye.
Carl Francis Asaro.
This is the last one. Stand by, Max.
Shop us now at hottubblife.com.
3, 2, 1.
Well, out there this morning, we were starting the morning off with some cloudy skies. Despite what this graphic says to you, we're not necessarily seeing sunny conditions here into Fargo. We are instead seeing some cloudy skies here through pretty much all of eastern North Dakota into northwest Minnesota. Temperatures into the 50s here into Fargo, and that's what we're seeing through much of the region here, those temperatures into the 50s. And that's what we're seeing to start things off today. By the afternoon, we're going to be seeing kind of midday, early afternoon here, some chances of some showers here in Fargo. Those temperatures really only just getting up into the 60s, and by the evening hours, we should be starting to see those skies clearing up just a little bit. And those temperatures going to be dropping back down into the 50s as we get into the evening hours and overnight once again. Maybe seeing those temperatures dropping down into the 40s for tomorrow morning. Plenty of some cool conditions out there to start things off for this week. Some chances of at least some light rain on the KVRR Weather Authority 7-day forecast. 69 for our Tuesday, 46 out there tomorrow morning. So some cool conditions to start things off for our Tuesday. But the rest of the week looking really nice. 74 on Wednesday, 79 on Thursday, 78 on Friday, and by next weekend, we're seeing those temperatures into the low 80s. Whole lot of some clear skies out there. So we're starting off the week a little bit with some cooler conditions, but by the end of the week, we're still seeing. What matters is the weekend.
Yes.
And we're going to be seeing nice weather for the weekend. So that's good.
Not to discourage you from the start of the work week, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing, though. We're looking at 65, and we're almost 20 degrees warmer by the start of the week.
Emily.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and even this time last week, it was crazy hot out there still, too. So a little bit of a different start.
We are light in the other.
All right, thanks so much, Max. Well, collectors gearing up to take home pieces of Hollywood history. Not us. We're not that old. Heritage Auctions opening a bidding for Hollywood model maker Greg Jean's collection. Jean was both a successful artistic creator in Hollywood and an avid collector himself. All of his memorabilia includes several pieces from beloved sci-fi movies and shows, including the spaceship from Close Encounters of the Third Kind and a stormtrooper costume. Jean passed away at the age of 76 last year. His cousin says he was passionate about his work and lived a life that he enjoys. All right, stick around. We are going to be bringing you your 9/11 anniversary coverage, plus weather and local news. Don't go away.
Stand by me. Stand by me. Whoa.